Okay. So take your sample. This should be your first flush sample that we've collected from the outlet that we want to test. And if you don't remember the difference between a first draw and first flush sample, please check out our video on sample collection. First thing we're going to do is we're going to flush out the cuvette with some of the water that we've collected. We'll use our transfer pipette to do that. And we want to do this fairly quickly because the water, once exposed to air, will begin to lose chlorine as it evaporates. So we want to do this pretty quickly. And we're basically going to rinse it out once, and then we're going to fill it to the 10 milliliter line that's on the cuvette. And again, we want to do this fairly quickly so we don't lose our chlorine that we're going to test for to the atmosphere. Okay, once we've done that, we can cap the bottle. We can close our cuvette, and we invert it a couple times to try to remove any bubbles that we've created by transferring the liquid from the bottle. Next thing we want to do is we want to clean off that cuvette to remove any fingerprints. And we can go ahead and turn on our colorimeter simply by pushing the button once, let go. It should flash for a little bit, and then it should show C1, which tells us to add cuvette number 1. Open the top, take our cuvette, put it in the top, close it, push the button once, let go. And it may flash for a little bit, and then it should read C2, which tells us it's time to add the second cuvette with our reagent. So we open that up. Now, we want to open our reagent packet, and like a sugar packet, we tap it a little bit so that all the powder runs to the bottom of the packet. We follow the cutting pattern that's illustrated on the packet to cut a funnel. We want to make a funnel with this packet. Sometimes you have to use your fingers to open it up, which is fine, but ultimately we want to create a small funnel that helps us pour the powder into the cuvette. So you open your cuvette, you pour in the powder, do the best you can not to spill it. Sometimes you gotta tap it a little bit to get all the powder out. And if you spill a little bit, it's okay. It's not gonna hurt anything. We've got plenty of powder in here to measure our chlorine. Okay, and once you've done that, you wanna quickly put the cover back on, and you wanna invert it a few times to mix the reagents with the water. Sometimes you'll see it collects on the bottom. You can tap the cuvette a little bit. And if there's a lot of chlorine in here, you'll see a pink color developing. If there's not very much chlorine in here, you may not see it, but the colorimeter may still pick it up. Okay, so we'll shake that a little bit. And then before we put it into the colorimeter, we're going to clean off any fingerprints again. We're going to open up our colorimeter. It should still say C2. We put it in. And at this point, we hold the button until we see 1 minute. Then we release it. And it's going to count down for a minute while it's taking a measurement of that sample. While we're waiting, we can throw away the extra packet, and if we have some other testing to do, we can get ready for that. Everything that I've been showing you here is explained on this quick reference guide that comes with your kit. It shows you how to measure chlorine. Chlorine's important because it's added to public water systems as a disinfectant to kill microbes and bacteria. While it does a great job at killing those things, it doesn't do a great job for the taste of the water. If it's too high in chlorine, it doesn't taste very well. You can smell it in your ice, you can taste it in your water. It smells like a swimming pool. So we want to try to measure that to determine how high it is, because the amount of chlorine will depend on where the home is in the distribution system. So we should have a number on our display at this point. And what we have here is 0.10 part per million, which is pretty low for a public water system. Normally, you would see something in the range of 0.3 to 0.5 is pretty common. The higher it is, the more likely that your water is not going to taste very good, and you might want to consider removing that chlorine. So once we've got the result, we want to record that result on our report template, or we can take a picture of that with our cell phone to put into a report. When we're done with that, we just take out the cuvette. We can turn off the colorimeter simply by holding the button. And then you want to clean out the cuvette as soon as you can so that you don't cause the glass to be stained by the reagent. So the longer you leave that in there, the more likely it will stain, and then you'll have to replace or clean the cuvette. And that's it. You've just measured free chlorine.